The spiritual journey consists of you understanding who you truly are. But what you don't know is that usually it is the means of manifestation, materialization, that you actually figure that out. That's one of the things I've come to recognize throughout my 30 years plus of studying spirituality and metaphysical sciences, is that we tend to think that materialization and manifestation are something more of a selfish, egotistical point of view, and that we're using spiritual practices to actually gain material wealth and materialistic things and even love to simply just enjoy this physical world, enjoy this human experience a little bit better. But in actuality, everything that we experience in this life, everything that we learn from this life is really to improve our connection with ourselves. So manifestation, materialization, those are things that are absolutely part of the journey of self-realization, enlightenment, right? Personal fulfillment, success. So what I want to share with you here are 3 things that's going to help you to actually learn to materialize and manifest the things that you want. Because this journey of spirituality, we all know it can be pretty tough. Okay. It's tough to go within, deal with, unpack all the trauma, figure out what's going on, the mechanisms, the limiting beliefs, the paradigms, coming into self-acceptance, recognizing who you are as a creator of your universe. So we're going to get into manifestation, making it more simple, making it more practical. All right. Now, you see these images behind me. They really were supposed to be monkeys, but I cannot draw monkeys. Do you remember the 3 wise monkeys, right? Hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil. These 3 monkeys, they go back as far as Chinese and Japanese folklore, storytelling. They essentially represent the idea that when it comes to evil, we are supposed to refrain from participating in it, right? We are supposed to refrain from hearing it, seeing it, and especially speaking it. But here's the thing. When it comes to metaphysical sciences, it is essentially the study of recognizing the spiritual understandings and the meanings or definitions that most people are not able to see. It's called metaphysical for a reason, right? It is going beyond the physical. In other words, it is the study of see the messages beyond the superficial layer, okay? And so when it comes to being a metaphysician, it is the recognition of all of the signs, the symbols, the stories that give you more of a esoteric lesson as to how you are supposed to take this information, all information, how you're supposed to take that pertaining to yourself and your spiritual development, you see? So when it comes to these 3 monkeys, first off, I want to really bring it to different levels of reference here. When we think about things like meditation, if you are somebody who studies meditation often, is often referred to as learning to quiet the monkey, calm the monkey, right? The monkey brain, right? That is the part of your mind that is constantly going, constantly going, constantly going. It is the part of you that you have a hard time with, letting go of certain belief systems or thinking a certain way. And then that kind of continues to create a cascade or momentum of continuing to think a certain way. And you really can't figure out how to stop it. Meditation is the way to do that. Now with meditation, though people use the reference of trying to quiet the monkey, you're really not. What you're doing is you are creating a separation between you, yourself, right, and the monkey, your consciousness and the mind, essentially. The mind is always going, just like the body. The body does not stop until it's passed away. The mind is the same way. You're constantly thinking, you're constantly analyzing, you're constantly assessing, coming up with conclusions, what have you. Meditation isn't to quiet the mind. Meditation is to recognize that you are not the mind. That's essentially how you quiet the monkey, by understanding the separation between you, consciousness, and the monkey. Now, the reason why I brought that up, because all of these things connect to one another. When we talk about meditation or mindfulness, or we talk about spirituality, and we're talking about using meditation to quiet the mind, when we talk about this idea, right, of the three wise monkeys, we must understand that there's a correlation here. Okay. The monkey represents the mind that's constantly going, jumping from this to that, to here, to there, from tree to tree, right? From situation to situation, from thought to thought. You see what I'm saying? So when we think about the three wise monkeys, right? The one that hears no evil, sees no evil, speaks no evil. We want to unpack that. Now, how do we unpack that? Why is it that the three wise monkeys are focusing on avoiding evil? Okay. When it comes to sacred texts, when it comes to learning, we have to recognize that there are many different layers of understanding when it comes to, say, spiritual texts like the Bible, the Quran, ancient stories or folklore. You have to recognize that all of these stories are identifying parts of or aspects of the self, parts of and aspects of who you are along particular points in your journey. You are supposed to see yourself in every story that you hear, not from an egotistical point of view, but from a point of view of recognizing the oneness between all things. You see? So let's get into it. The first thing is, when it comes to evil, okay? When it comes to evil, the best way to avoid evil is essentially to not think of evil, okay? It's just like with manifestation. Manifestation 101 is to focus on what you want, not what you don't want, okay? The universe only understands what it is that is on your mind, even if you're not wanting it. So the true, right, essence of this story of the three wise monkeys and them not hearing evil, not seeing evil, not speaking evil, is understanding then what it is that they are hearing. What is it that they are seeing? What is it that they are speaking? If they are not focusing on evil, okay? Because if you're not doing something, then the real question is, what are you doing? Then, of course, they are focusing on good, okay? So, in life, when you think about things like what you don't want, there is validity and there is some leeway to recognize what you don't want. And that is only in order to recognize what you do want. When you recognize what you do want, then you focus 100% on the good, right? On what it is that you desire, on the positive, okay? Don't remain stuck in the negative. Keep focused on the positive. Keep moving in the direction of the positive, of the desire, of the materialization of the thing, okay? So, that being said, these archetypes are really about programming the subconscious mind, okay? I made an analogy before where the conscious mind right, and the subconscious mind equate to a spear, okay? The conscious mind is the tip of the spear. The subconscious mind is essentially everything else, okay? The conscious mind, its job is to direct the rest of you, the rest of your mind. So that way you hit a point, you hit a destination, you hit a goal, you hit the materialization of success, achievement of whatever it is that you desire. So essentially what we're doing here is we're recognizing that these three things here are what is we're going to use the conscious mind, right, to direct these three things here in order to program the subconscious mind in order for you to achieve a goal, right? Now, this is the very beginning of achieving a goal, but these things will get you started, right? So you must understand that you do not avoid hearing evil. You focus on hearing good. Okay. You do not try to not see evil. You focus on seeing good. It is not to speak no evil. It is to speak good. Okay. Now, when we say good, good simply represents desire. Okay. Your job really is to use your conscious mind to direct the monkey in your head. Okay. That is jumping from thought, to worry, to this, to that. You are to use your conscious mind to direct the monkeys to actually hear good, see good, speak good. Okay. When you do that, and that is by way of, you may be wondering, okay, how do we hear good? This is basically your environment. Okay. So it could be the company you keep. Okay. It could be social media. Okay. It could be even the books you read. Okay. TV, videos, streaming. Make sure that everything you are hearing, right? Audiobooks, conversations with your friends, your families, your coworkers. Make sure that what you are hearing is in alignment with that which you desire. Now, that could be a particular goal. That could be a lifestyle, right? That could be a particular relationship. That can be a particular mindset or way you want to, how you want to hold yourself, how you want to live on a fitness level, how you want to live in a spiritual level. Essentially, that is what this means when you say hear good. Okay. Now, see good. This means recognizing that all things essentially lead to positive results, right? Positive results. That is recognizing or putting yourself in the environment where there is positivity going to be around. So, a positive community. Be around positive people. Be around positive person, your partner, girlfriend, boyfriend. Make sure that you are seeing positivity, that you are intentionally putting yourself in an environment where things are positive, where things are ultimately, again, aligned with what it is that you desire. That is what you're doing. You're putting yourself in places where you are seeing good. It could be you seeing people actually doing the thing that you desire to do. So if you want to get fit, you actually go to a gym where you are making friends and you are seeing people actually getting those results. If you want to meet the love of your life, you're finding places where people, right, are connected with the love of their life, whether it be dances, whether it be some kind of gatherings for couples. You are in an environment where you get to see that. So that way it builds a sense of resonance, it builds a sense of connection, it builds a sense of bringing your frequency to that place, right? By seeing it. and by recognizing that it is possible, it exists. Because what happens is most times people are focused on the hear no evil, see no evil, right? But the focus then is still on evil, right? And they want to have hope about finding the love of their life. But if they're so focused on the fact that they don't have it and they're not putting themselves in a place to see it and witness it, then they're still going to lose hope because still the energy is quote unquote evil, right? The energy is quote unquote negative, you see? So you have to put yourself in a place where you see it, the thing that you desire, you see people achieving it, you see people working towards it, you see people who have it. Okay. And then finally, speaking. Speaking relates to affirmations, right? But affirmations is not just a statement that you just say in a mirror, even though that is powerful. Affirmations are also what you say to yourself in your mind on a consistent basis. What is the internal dialogue that's happening in your mind? What are you saying to yourself? Even what are you doing? Your actions are also an affirmation, right? How are you thinking about it? How are you feeling about it? What's going on in this conversation within you about that particular thing? So you really want to get focused in on putting yourself in places where you hear good, you hear things in alignment with what you desire, you see good, you put yourself in places, you bear witness to the fact that people have achieved this, got this, have this, and you can get it too. And then finally, you speak good. You speak from a place of affirmations, affirming that what you desire is meant for you, affirming that what you desire is your purpose. It is your fate. You see? And so you are speaking it in your mind, not just verbally, but it's constantly going on in your mind. It's a conversation you're having. And sometimes that conversation is a back and forth. You know, that conversation sometimes is a conversation between consciousness and speaking and reassuring, and then the conversation from the ego, who may have limited beliefs and may be doubting, right? And you're going back and forth, and that's okay. That's okay, because eventually what will happen is you will continue to affirm and have this internal dialogue, but because you are seeing it, right? You are seeing good. You are seeing actually people who have what you desire. You are hearing, you are aligning your environment, the things that you hear, see, watch, right? Those things are in alignment with the positivity that you desire for yourself. Eventually, it is going to back up and build your confidence, okay? And it's going to build up the evidence for your conscious mind, your consciousness, to actually speak over, okay, the ego. And the ego will begin to lessen. The ego's voice will get quieter and quieter. The ego's voice will, in fact, get to a point where it becomes programmed, okay, to recognize that the ego is in its best interest to actually be supportive, you know? So you have to recognize, one, that the ego is not your enemy, right? The ego is just simply a mechanism for protection. And sometimes it is overprotective. And just like an overprotective parent, they will prevent a child from fully developing, right? Fully tapping into their potential, because the parent is scared that that child is going to get hurt. And that is essentially what the ego is for you in this physical realm. All right. So that's really what I wanted to share with you. When you think about, you know, this idea of your thoughts and you not being able to control your thoughts, able to really pacify your thoughts, to direct your thoughts, to be confident, to be in a space where it aligns with what you desire, all you have to do is focus on these three monkeys, okay? And you have to focus on them on the positive, okay? Remember, hear good, see good, speak good. When you do that, you are in the trajectory of actually programming your subconscious mind, okay, to do the things that you actually want to do, to feel the way that you want to feel, to essentially align, right, with the proper frequency. Okay. These things and these layers are essentially aspects of who you are that you have to bring into an alignment with one another. You have to bring these things in harmony with one another. You see, so you have to bring things like your superconscious, your higher self, your consciousness, your conscious mind, subconscious mind, unconscious mind, ego, all these things. You have to bring them together, acknowledge them all, okay, have a conversation, have a meeting, right, with your team, because essentially they are your teammates, right? And then you're going to get on the same accord. And so with the subconscious mind, which is the bulk, right, which handles all of your habits, all of your reflexes, your patterns, all those things. When it comes to programming the subconscious mind, these are the three things you're going to focus on. So continue to stay positive. Staying positive doesn't mean you are being delusional, that you're not being or keeping it real. It means that you are essentially reprogramming your reality. You don't want to keep it real. Keeping it real means you are identifying with what is now, but you are not the now. Okay. You are resonating with the future self that actually has all the things, that is in perfect alignment. And you are taking this journey to become that. And in order to do that, you have to implement and practice these tools, right? You have to apply these principles. So all that I'm saying is to get you on the frequency of the future self that you desire, the future self that has it all. What you need to do on a regular basis is just make sure, right, that you put yourself in a place where you hear positive things. Be mindful about your social media, curate your environment. Sometimes, I'm on social media and I see them fights. I see somebody get knocked out and I'm like, oh, and then I can tell my algorithm starts sending me more fights, right? But that's not what I want to hear, or politics. That's not what I want to hear. That's not in connection, in alignment with what it is that I'm creating for myself, So I have to reset my algorithm to make sure that I see things that are in alignment with me. Sometimes my friends will send me things because they know I have a dark sense of humor. So they'll send me certain things. But even then, I'm still mindful. If I feel like it's not going where I want it to go in that moment, I won't finish watching a video. I won't even like it, right? So you have to be responsible about those things. You have to be responsible about what it is that you're watching, okay? What it is that you are, because that is programming your subconscious mind. So if you're watching violence, if you're watching hate, if you're watching negativity, that is affecting your frequency. So be mindful about that. Be responsible with that. Then again, seeing good, putting yourself in places where you witness the beauty of what it is that you desire for yourself. You anchor in the possibility, the understanding that it is there, that it is a reality, a version of you that has that. And you just need to match that frequency. So you need to see it. And then, of course, speaking it, we know and we relate to from practices like affirmation. All you have to do is speak in the affirmative, in the present moment. It is yours. Okay. Just because it hasn't materialized in the physical form yet doesn't mean it's not real. It's more real in your mind and in your spirit than it is in the physical form. The physical form just takes time. It's just slow to materialize things. But in your mind, your spirit is instant. So honor that. The more you hold it in your mind as yours, then it will materialize itself in the physical form. So don't discourage yourself. Don't feel like you have to go back and forth because you're not being patient. Like maybe it's not meant for me. Maybe it is. I want it, but maybe I'm not supposed to have it. Don't allow those conversations to really take hold of you. If it is something you desire, you dream about, you fantasize about, you go after it. Okay, you create that. That is yours to have. So this is all I wanted you to understand and to share with you as far as when it comes to the monkey in your mind, when it comes to these three monkeys here, right? and recognizing that these essentially are just representations of how to manage your mind. So the focus isn't on evil. The focus isn't on the negative. The focus isn't on what you don't want. You may be living in a situation right now where you don't want the life that you have. Don't focus on that. Focus only on the life that you desire. Focus only on the things that you want. Focus only on the beautiful things that you have. Yes, because that is going to allow you to feel the gratitude and master frequency of manifestation. But stay focused in on moving toward the goal, because the goal and the idea, the manifestation of the thing, is the thing that is actually going to help you to transcend your reality, to transcend the mindset, the limited mindset of thinking that you are simply a human being, right? The point of this all is to recognize that you are a creator of your reality, that you are the creator. So you have to just follow the journey of, materializing those things, because right now you may be more identified with the ego. The ego likes things, right? And you like to have things that makes you feel good in the ego. Now, recognize again, the ego is not the enemy. The ego is a tool as well. So just be mindful about all of these tools and these aspects of yourself. Recognizing also that simply because they are aspects of yourself, they are not who you are. Okay. They are just expressions. They are manifestations of living a human experience, but they are tools to help you tap into your spiritual, your conscious awareness and truth. You see? So really, I want you to think about these monkeys, think about how you're going to increase your frequency to the frequency that you desire, as far as how you want to live your life and the idea and understanding of who you know yourself to be. Okay. Which is essentially who you want to be, who you see yourself being, how you see your life being experienced and expressed, and, what brings you joy, you see. So I invite you, go to futureselffrequency.com, purchase the book, The Future Self Frequency. You can also purchase the journal, My Future Self Journal. If you go to drabundant.com and you sign up to my daily newsletter, you will actually get the first chapter of The Future Self Frequency. This is a deluxe transformation edition. You'll get the first chapter absolutely free. That way it's good, okay, before you buy it. So thank you so much. Feel free to go to Dr. Abundant again, subscribe to the newsletter, get the free chapter, go to futureselffrequency.com. All right. Thank you so much. Peace and abundance always.